With studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW West Texas.
We treat it worse than dirt. A cockroach has more chance of survival than we do in a New York City apartment.
Local truckers are speaking out against poor working conditions and low wages. Coming up in just a few minutes, we hear more about the, quote, demeaning conditions that have sparked a movement across the Permian Basin. Thanks for joining us for CBS7 News on the CW, and thanks to those of you joining us live on the CBS7 YouTube. I'm Laura Munt, and we start tonight tracking crime in Alpine, where a volunteer firefighter is being charged with arson. This comes after several grass fires were set in Brewster County. You're looking now at David Neat. He was arrested after an investigation led officers to find several devices that were used to start fires. Neat was not only an Alpine volunteer firefighter, but also an EMS crew member in Odessa. The Brewster County Sheriff's Office is still investigating the case, and we will, of course, continue to keep you updated as we learn more. Turning now to a story out of Midland, where earlier this morning a car was driven into the pond at Wadley Barron Park. Take a look at that scene. Police say that the driver was a 17-year-old girl with one juvenile passenger. They say the car hopped a curb on the northwest side of the park and ended up fully submerged in the pond. Both occupants were able to get out of the car, and MPD says the driver tried to run away from the scene, but she only made it about a block away before being found by police. She and the other passenger were treated for minor injuries. Now, that car was removed from the pond about 3 hours after the incident, and police are continuing an investigation. Also this morning in Midland, there was an oil spill. This was on South Loop 250, also known as the Antelope Trail. The spill was between Interstate 20 and County Road 140. Midland Fire Department was initially called to help, but were no longer needed on site as of 10 a.m. CBS7 has reached out to the Department of Public Safety for any other updates, but we have not gotten a response yet. And we've got a traffic alert for you out of Odessa that could affect your commute for the next year. The city will be working on the mile-long stretch between Crane Avenue and West 2nd Street to West Pool Road. Crews are removing and replacing sidewalks, curbs, and gutters. They'll also be replacing water main lines, fire hydrants, and manholes. Construction is set to be completed September 2025. And speaking of traffic this morning, intense rains caused the usual flooding along roadways in the Permian Basin. This video was taken along 42nd Street in Dixie in Odessa, where multiple vehicles were stalled at that intersection. I'm joined here now with Chief Meteorologist Tom Teeferteller to talk a little bit about this morning's showers and take a look at what we can expect, as we head into the week. Tom?
Yeah, some quick quarter-inch of rain came down earlier today across the Midland-Odessa area, a little more than 1/3 of an inch up towards Andrews, but it quickly moved off to the east and southeast, and the satellite and radar view not too much developed after that across the area, as we saw rainfall amounts today again up to 1/4 inch out at the Midland National Air and Spaceport, 35/100ths in Odessa. I should say Andrews. Odessa about 3/10 of an inch of rain from the showers and thunder showers earlier, as temperatures were held down a little bit. Ignore that 99 there in Midland. Temperatures are only around 85 degrees this afternoon. And in the 90s across the Trans-Pecos. The hot spots were down here along the Rio Grande, where we saw the usual triple digits. We've cooled off a little bit out there across the area with temperatures into the upper 70s. Actually kind of pleasant, even though we do have a little humidity to deal with. We've got this northeast wind. It's going to make for a nice start to your Tuesday.
Thank you, Tom. Because of today's storms, the city of Odessa announced that the Jurassic Jungle Spray Ground, Sherwood Family Aquatic Center, and the Woodson Family Aquatic Center temporarily closed today. But don't worry, the Jurassic Jungle Spray Ground and the Woodson Family Aquatic Center will reopen tomorrow, and the Sherwood Family Aquatic Center will reopen on Wednesday. Along with those changes in weather, you might notice a slight change in gas prices since Hurricane Beryl landed in Texas. West Texas and Houston are both key oil hubs in the state, which is why a storm that's happening at 500 miles away affects the price of oil and gas right here in the Permian Basin. Luckily, those changes aren't as detrimental as they could be if the storm had hit higher in the Gulf. So while yes, some offshore oil rigs were evacuated and could potentially be damaged by the price of oil might actually fall instead of rise.
Most hurricanes have only a short-term impact on oil prices and gasoline prices. There will be some evacuation of some platforms that produce oil, and so that'll cut back productions, but it's a very short term. until the hurricane passes.
As for those refineries, they're affected by winds and floodings of the storm, but this will have no long-term impact on the production of oil and gas. Overall, Hurricane Beryl is expected to have a very small disruption on the industry. Coming up later on CBS7 News at 9, we'll take a look at some of the damage that Hurricane Beryl left along the Texas coast, plus what Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has to say about the storm. But right now, let's turn to a developing story happening across the Permian Basin as truck drivers across the region are protesting low wages and hard-working conditions. On Monday, July 1st, drivers blocked entrances to sand mines with a row of cars, asking to have time home with their family, fair wages to live comfortably, and proper restroom facilities.
And I harken back. Why do we not have proper restroom facilities for the men and women that are keeping the largest segment of the energy industry in the continental United States operating? Can we not have hot and cold running water? Trailers, like what they put in outdoor events. This is simple human dignity. This is what we're fighting for.
Now, according to federal law, drivers must take an 11-hour break before beginning their shifts and may not drive for more than 14 hours straight. And after driving for 8 uninterrupted hours, they must take a 30-minute break. Truckers may only drive for 70 hours within 8 consecutive workdays. But Randall says here in West Texas, those breaks aren't always happening.
For example, here in West Texas, in the Basin, drivers are stuck online. Their drive time, their work time is being cut because they're not able to move. They're waiting. That waiting time, they don't get paid for. As well, it counts against their hours of service.
In Texas, trucking accounts for 800,000 jobs, meaning that 1 in every 14 jobs in the state is a trucking position. Some public safety news for you now. Odessa Fire Rescue has some new drones to help get a bird's eye view of any incidents. The battalion chief says that these will help with fires, car wrecks, and even hazmat scenes. The drones can be sent in before a firefighter to see what the situation is.
We have that overhead view. We can actually see the hot spots, the fires that may be unseen with the naked eye, but we can see where those fires are with these drones.
It allows us to make even better decisions that are better informed and will help not only with the safety of our personnel, but also the safety of the citizens out there as we're operating at these dangerous scenes.
OFR expects to use this when they train firefighters in order to learn what they can improve on. Let's talk some local sports now, where West Texas FC has officially ended their regular season with the best record in the Lone Star Conference. But don't worry, you haven't missed your chance to catch a game. The soccer team is preparing for playoffs, and CBS7's Jensen Young has a look at how they feel about those upcoming games. Jensen?
I think we can go the whole way. I mean, I've seen the top level of the NPSL, and this team absolutely can go the whole way, and that's what we want. That's what we want to do. We want to be national champions. Obviously, great to win the regular season, but we don't want to stop there. We want to win it all.
West Texas FC won the NPSL's Lone Star Conference with 7 wins, 1 draw, and just 2 losses. That ranks 17th out of the 89-team league.
We knew we were capable of achieving this. Obviously, we want a bit more now, so playoffs are starting and we're locked in now for the second part of the season.
Yeah, I think finishing first sends a message to the rest of the conference. I think we're definitely the team to beat. So yeah, going into playoffs, we need to make sure we live up to that.
The team ended the year with 5 straight victories. That gives them a lot of momentum and confidence going into the playoffs.
I think form's very important, especially in such a small season like this. So to go in with 5 wins, it's a huge confidence boost and good for the mentality of the boys.
West Texas FC takes on Laredo Heat in the first playoff game. That's the only team that held West Texas scoreless all season.
It should be a tough game, but we're playing at home. We're in form, so hopefully we can get our revenge.
It's tough. It's knockout football. So anyone can go home and anything can happen in the games. We just have to come with the same mentality we have in the previous games, and we'll be successful if we perform that.
Head coach David Ormiston sees no better way to start a national championship run than in the home stadium with the home fans behind them.
It's a big game this week. It's win or go home now, so come out, support. Like I said, it really helps the boys, and we want to bring a national championship back to Midland and Odessa.
West Texas FC starts their playoffs against Laredo Heat right here at its Down Broadband Stadium on Wednesday at 7:30. For CBS7 First Alert Sports, I'm Jensen Young.
Thank you, Jensen. West Texas FC's playoff game will be Wednesday night at 7:30, and Jensen Young will be there and have a full recap for us after the game. Be sure to tune in to CBS7 News at 10 tonight for more local sports coverage with Sports Director Jair Brooks Davis. Still ahead, we're taking a look at some of the damage that Hurricane Beryl left along the Texas coastline, plus what Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has to say about the storm. Hurricane Beryl made landfall earlier today near Matagorda as a Category 1 hurricane. Heavy rain and flooding were seen throughout the Houston area. Acting Governor Lieutenant Dan Patrick held a press conference on Monday afternoon to update people on the situation. He warned about the roads being flooded and power lines down in the area, and also confirmed that several people have died because of the storm.
We've had one in Houston, one fatality due to a drowning, and sadly we've had 2 freak accidents where trees fell on individuals and they were killed. So we've had 3 deaths to report to this moment, and we hope there are no others.
According to Houston's mayor, among the dead is a Houston Police Department employee. In total, Beryl has killed at least 13, 9 from the Caribbean and the 4 that we just mentioned from Texas. Michael Yoshida is in Houston with the latest.
A stern warning.
Don't let the clear skies fool you.
At a press conference Monday evening, Houston's mayor telling residents they are not out of the woods yet, even though Beryl has passed through.
We still have dangerous circumstances. We still have high water across our city.
That advisement as first responders were out conducting rescues. Houston firefighters rescued a man trapped in bed and another resident when a tree fell on the house. 2 other people died in separate incidents of trees falling on homes in Harris County Monday, authorities said. Another person died when lightning started a house fire, and a civilian employee of the Houston Police Department died when his car became stuck in floodwaters. Across the area, fallen trees, collapsed roofs, and flooded interstates painted a grim picture for Texans as Beryl made its way further inland, spawning tornadoes and at one point producing wind gusts reaching as high as 94 miles per hour in some areas.
The wind tunnel just went crazy. Stuff started flying off the walls, zinging around the house.
Beryl made landfall southwest of Houston Monday morning as a Category 1 hurricane, eventually morphing into a tropical storm. It knocked out power for more than 2.7 million Texas customers, most of them Houstonians. The lieutenant governor confirmed that they are already in recovery mode.
We are strong, and Texans always pull together.
In Houston, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Well, no effects from Beryl here in West Texas. We just had some showers, thunder showers, move out of New Mexico earlier today. Could more of that be in the forecast? Well, we're going to take a look at that coming up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, let's take a look outside on our live iCam in Odessa at a very tranquil evening out there as we just have a few clouds and temperature's not all that bad. Satellite and radar view, after we had the showers earlier this morning, nothing really getting going this afternoon across the area. We had a couple of thunder showers down in the mountain areas, really about it. There's some stuff here across portions of New Mexico that we'll be watching here for the evening hours as temperatures again not all that bad. Upper 70s currently after a day of topping out only into the mid 80s out there as we have this northwesterly flow in the upper levels. Occasionally swinging a cool front through like this morning. Well, we've got more scattered showers, thunder showers across portions of New Mexico. Not quite as organized as all the stuff we had last night. So don't think we'll see a lot in the morning hours, maybe a couple of showers. There's Beryl. Now basically a weak tropical storm to a tropical depression moving into portions of Arkansas. Left behind a lot of destruction. A lot of tornadoes were being reported across portions of southeast Texas into the piney woods of East Texas, now trailing up into Louisiana and Arkansas. West Texas, though, things are pretty quiet. A couple of showers here between Roswell and Albuquerque, so not a lot expected in the morning hours. Again, maybe a couple of showers across southeast New Mexico into the Permian Basin. As temperatures right now, can't argue with 79 degrees. That's some great weather out there for this evening. Futurecast is showing that we're going to see, again, a few clouds roll across out of New Mexico. There could be a shower or two try to form up in the morning hours. A lot of it's going to be across the southern Permian Basin into the Trans-Pecos and then down into the mountain areas for tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours. Then watching for a little more stuff to try to come out of southeast New Mexico in this northwest flow in the upper levels. So again, that's going to be our best rain chance, but it looks like rain chance is starting to dwindle after tomorrow. Right around 70 on the overnight low with great conditions out there across the area. Then tomorrow, lower 90s, an isolated shower thunderstorm. So again, things will start to warm back up across the area. And that's the trend. But here's the good news, though. We're staying out of triple digits here over the next few days as those rain chances do dwindle. So if you're making some weekend plans, I think you're going to be okay. Mid 90s, very seasonable weather, and just a slim chance at an isolated thunderstorm.
Still ahead, we're taking a look at how Hurricane Beryl impacted 4th of July travelers across the nation. That's up next on CBS 7 News at 9. Air travel for the 4th of July weekend set new records at airports, and now the trip home is being complicated by Hurricane Beryl. Chris Van Cleve has the story.
A sea of people flooding Miami International Airport Sunday, leaving the security line stretching across the check-in area.
When I've been here before, it hasn't been this busy. I can't believe the TSA line is 30 minutes. That's wild.
For much of the Independence Day holiday, air travel was running smoother than last year, with thousands of fewer flight delays and cancellations. But that's changed in Texas. With Beryl hammering the Gulf Coast, United, American, and Southwest canceled dozens of flights in Houston and other Texas cities because of the storm. Anna Lima and her young son told our Elise Preston they were leaving Los Angeles Sunday morning for Brazil, with a stop in stormy Texas.
I just found out this morning that there's a hurricane going through Houston, and that's our first stop.
AAA predicted the busiest 4th of July ever, with many of the nearly 61 million expected to drive heading home Sunday, as gas prices are the lowest they've been on the July 4th holiday in 3 years. Ed Wiest and his wife were on their way back to Pennsylvania after vacationing in the Outer Banks.
I think it's supposed to be a 7-hour drive without traffic. It might be an extra hour from slow down here and there.
Despite significant delays at major airports across the country Sunday, the TSA says it was the busiest day at checkpoints ever, with the agency screening more than 3 million people for the first time since the start of the summer travel season. The TSA has now had 9 of its 10 busiest days ever. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Phoenix.
Earlier this afternoon, Dallas Love Field's terminal was evacuated after a fire alarm went off. 20 minutes later, everyone was allowed back in. And according to a post by Love Field on X, Dallas Fire Rescue and Dallas Police were on the scene. The cause of the alarm is still unknown, but all operations have returned to normal. Still ahead, tomorrow is National Sugar Cookie Day. Coming up next, we're talking about how you should celebrate. All right, Tom, get ready to warm up your oven tomorrow because it's National Sugar Cookie Day. July 9th is dedicated to celebrating the humble but very tasty sugar cookie. The popular baked good was first called the Nazareth cookie after the Pennsylvania town where it originated. And German Protestant bakers may have brought the recipe with them when they immigrated to America in the mid-1700s. You can celebrate by posting pictures of your favorite recipe with the hashtag National Sugar Cookie Day. Do you like sugar cookies, Tom?
I love sugar cookies,
I do too.
but isn't it the wrong season?
I was going to say, I don't know if I want to warm my oven up. It's too hot
Well,
for that.
I mean, but also shouldn't it be like December 23rd
Christmas
or
should be
something?
sugar cookie.
You know, sugar cookies, unless it's Christmas in July.
Yeah, that's
I mean, I
true.
saw on the
it is Christmas in July.
Well, I saw on the Hallmark Channel they're already running last year's Christmas movies.
So should we start decorating? And
So, you know, that's what
I'll eat some sugar cookies
don't
for
know. I guess
Christmas starting. You know, actually, I prefer my sugar cookies with chocolate chips in them.
Dare I say it, the stores will be getting in Christmas lights here
They
the next
will.
couple of weeks. Okay.
Get ready for it.
As soon as the school supplies go off the shelves, okay, it's time for Christmas stuff.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the temperatures to change and for it to get
Well,
colder. Today was great. Today was kind of chilly.
Today was fantastic, and really this forecast is not all that bad, as we're going to see those temperatures low to mid 90s on the way for the rest of the week with some isolated thunderstorm chances. We can't argue with that here in the middle of July, and at least it's a far cry from the triple digits. And those aren't in the forecast anytime soon, even though we'll have some hot days. At least it won't be blistering hot anytime soon.
Is it going to be humid, though?
It's going to be
I'm not really ready for
that. That's
that.
the one thing this summer that I've noticed is we've had a little more humidity to deal with. And that's
I'm not
the
a
only,
fan of that. That's
No,
why I live in West Texas,
Yeah,
is so
that's
that I
why
don't get humidity.
That's why I've lived in West Texas for 30 years, okay? Is lack of humidity.
That's what we should just stick with, is no humidity. I like the rain. I don't like the humidity.
No, there you go.
I'm okay with that.
But we'll take more rain now.
Anytime. Thanks for joining us for CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW. We've got more news coming up tonight at 10.